Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I am the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Field Mcconnell in the house. So please, everybody, if you have a question for Field, feel free to raise your hand and I will unmute your mic at some point in this podcast. Otherwise, if you cannot speak, please write your question underneath his logo on the wall with your question, and I will read those as well at some point in this podcast. Also, to everybody, if you get a random text or email or some kind of DM BS saying it's from me, again, BS, bullshit, it's not me. Unfortunately, I have frauds out there trying to use my name, my podcast to try to scam people. So please, everybody, be careful. Know that that is not me. I will not randomly reach out to you, as I say all the time, and ask you if you're ready for the scare event, financials, crypto, anything like that. You get something like that, please block, report, let me know so I can make sure they are not here in my channel. Also, too, I can't implore you enough. You need to be careful who you're following, who you're listening to, and what you're putting into your mind. It is insanity out there. It is all by design. They're trying to get now the MAGA supporters, Trump supporters, at each other's throat. It's crazy, and I believe we're just going to see even more craziness, throughout this summertime. So everybody, please just be careful. Tighten up your circle. If you have 3 to 5 people that haven't led you wrong through the course of your journey here, please stick and stay with them, because more than likely they're not going to lead you wrong through the course of this journey. Although I have seen people that are walking this line with us, this journey on the same wavelength, but now they're going to the other side because they're listening to other people talk about the black pill and shit like that. So this is why I'm telling you, it can be very dangerous out there for your mind if you're not strong in the mind, everybody. This is why I sit in these chats, these spaces, whatever. I listen to what people are saying so I can come back here and let you guys know, just be careful. Like I said, it's dangerous, and it can be very, very horrifying if you start going on that other side. So also, too, everybody, if you come in late to this podcast, you can always follow us on the podcast host. We are being listened to in over 100 countries, everybody. So we are making some noise, some positive noise. And everybody, stay out of the negative noise. Stay out of the noise out there. Hold on to the positive wins, because we are winning. We are winning bigly, everybody. Trump is a master troll. He knows what he's doing. Everybody's upset about this Pope picture that he posted. Dig deeper into it, because there's more to it. And he even put it out there. The person that holds the gold makes the rules. Trump is the boss, everybody. And if you go back to the Pope's picture that Trump posted a couple years ago with Ivanka, excuse me, and Melania, all in black. And then, Trump in his, I think, blue suit or whatever. And then the Pope was there in the white. That's very significant, everybody. So please dig deeper on that before, a lot of people are saying negative things about it, but don't fall for that. Just look into it and listen to what people are saying. I know SG's been talking about it. I've been talking about it. So again, that's the type of noise that I'm talking about. So hang on to the positive wins. That's a huge thing. He's just trolling. He's the master troll, but he's telling you, he who holds the gold makes the rules. Who holds the gold? Trump has all the gold, right? So just be careful, everybody. Also, here's the podcast host and the social medias that I was getting ready to tell you about. If you come in late to the podcast, they are iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Podbean, Riverside, Amazon Music. Social medias are all except for, I think it's 3, and those are TikTok, YouTube, and then True Social. So I'm working on those, but bear with me on that. Social medias are Jenny Dreed Facebook, at Jenny_Dreed, X at JDreed, Rumble at JDreed, True Social, at JDreed, Instagram, The Revival of America right here on Telegram, The Revival of America YouTube, and then last but certainly not least, at the official JDreed on TikTok. I suck over there on TikTok. I apologize, but someday I'm going to try to do better. So every once in a while, I'll get on there and do a midweek update on the show lineup. So again, I do apologize for that. Also, too, if you have a story or a journey to tell, everybody, please feel free to reach out to me at the Revival of America at yahoo.com, because it's your stories, your voices that are going to help form this new world that we're coming into. I know many people have been shut down, censored. They don't know where to go to tell their story. Please reach out to me at the Revival of America at yahoo.com. And last but certainly not least, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, go to the website. It is free, therevivalofamerica.com, and you'll get the weekly lineup of the shows, the guests, the times, as well as the notifications for the podcast, the new ones that come out. So with that, everybody, Field is in the house. I don't know why he comes in unmuted, but I'm going to unmute him. And then everybody, I'm trying to get Captain Kyle on Friday. Okay, I didn't have him regularly scheduled. I'm bringing him back on because he had a podcast the other day with Robert Kraft, I believe, and I know a lot of people. I've had a lot of messages in regards to questions regarding that, and then also too, unfortunately, I wasn't able to post mine with him last week because the audio was horrible. So I do apologize for that. I'm working on it. I don't know what's going on. I was fine until I did the move, and then all of a sudden, it's like John Baxter's podcast was good. You could hear me okay, but then we came on. I think it was who was it with Dallas. I was very choppy or very faint. So hopefully you guys can hear me. If not, please, those of you that are in my other little chat, DM me and let me know if you can't hear me. So I don't see Field in here. Hold on. I don't see him. Fields, where are you? He should be coming in. We were just on our other little chat with them. So let me text him real quick and we'll get started here shortly. But again, like I said, if you guys have a question, feel free to raise your hand. I will start unmuting mics at some point, and then also too, I will read the questions if you can't speak directly to Field. So bear with me, everybody. I'm going to send him a little text and say, where are you? Okay. In the meantime, if you guys have a question for me, you're more than welcome while we wait for Field. You're more than welcome to raise your hand, and hopefully I have an answer for you. But if not, we'll just kick it, and then we'll wait for Field to get in here, everybody. I messaged him, so hang tight. Also, too, Derek Johnson will be on later this evening, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. He will have just come back, I think it was Sunday, from Trump's Doral resort there in Florida. So I'll be curious to see how that all went, because I know a bunch of truthers were down there. So that might be kind of exciting to see what he has back to bring back for us. So again, everybody, hang in there. We were just on the field. I don't know where he's at, but he'll be in here hopefully shortly. Field, you're tardy. Hello, Field.
Hello. Sorry I was late. I wasn't really late. I was just swamped with garbage, Garbage. But I'm here now, and thanks in large part to Angel, who communicated with me in numerous different ways, and she got me to get here. So thank you, Angel. Sorry I'm late, Jenny. What can I do for you?
Oh, well, no. What can you do for the audience? You're here every Monday. So what would you like to speak about? Or do you just want to go into Q&A?
Well, um, there is something I wanted to speak about, but I can't recall it right now. It came to me yesterday, and I'm sure it'll come back during this show. But why don't we, as a courtesy to the audience and as a compliment to Jenny, I think your audience is extremely well informed. I think they form wonderful questions that stimulate my interest. So if you don't disagree, why don't we go straight away to questions and answers?
All right, everybody. So I've got one hand raised right here, and then I've got a question on the back wall. And the question here I'm going to read to you, Field, is from River Rat. It says, Field, what if the WTC buildings weren't taken down by planes? What material was used, and who planted it? Who was behind it, and how has it been covered up for so many years, 25 years?
Well, that's of great frustration to me, but the answer is quite simple. The airplanes had nothing to do with buildings coming down. So how did the buildings come down? Pre-placed nanothermite. I'll spell that. NANO space THERMITE. And who placed it? Actually, I think I know who placed it. And this isn't, I think I know. It's not 100% sure, but my mind has been on this and involved in this for over 24 years. There was a Native American tribe from upstate New York that were known to have placed a lot of nefarious material into the World Trade 1 and 2. So, can a bunch of Native Americans be held accountable? Perhaps, but maybe it would be more efficient to prosecute the people that paid them to place nanothermite in all three of the World Trade 1, 2, and 7, all three of the buildings, because that's why the buildings came down. It had nothing to do with airplanes, even though I'm passionate about the airplanes or the CGI that was evidence on that morning of 9/11 of 2001. Okay, so who did it? Ultimately, the Rockefeller family, period. Nobody else. Rockefeller. Now, why do I say that? Well, number one, I say it because it's true. And number two, I say it because um, in the lead up to 9/11, the Rockefeller family had asked permission from a government agency to do a controlled demolition of 1 and 2. Um, and they were denied permission because World Trade 1 and 2 were 1,362 in one case and 1,368 in the other case, feet above ground level, which is too tall to be controlled demolition. So the Rockefeller family went ahead and did it anyway. So there's your answer. You want to prosecute somebody for 9/11? Start with the Rockefeller family. And then I think you need to consider whoever's going to do this. And I think that Donald Trump is going to declassify it. And then from that point, it would be possible to hold people accountable. For instance, people like Robert Swan Mueller, who was the FBI director at one point, and I contacted him. I believe it was on February 7th of 2007 or I think it was February 7th, 2007. I, Field McConnell, contacted Robert Swan Mueller, the FBI director, and I told him who did 9/11 and how they did it. And I got nothing in response. So that doesn't surprise me because back then we were under the control of the shadow government of the US, of which my own sister, Christine Marcy, was a key official and not a good official. There's two groups of people that I go after: international child traffickers and traitors to the US. TRAITORS. Donald Trump knows my name. Not that I've ever communicated with him directly, except for 350 letters to him during his first administration. And those 350 letters had a lot of details, and there were a lot of footnotes. So there was no question that the information that I funneled to him through a third party, because I have become aware that I'm somewhat of a toxic personality, and nobody that is an important official of the United States government would want there to be tracks leading from me to that public official, whoever he or she may be. And that continues to today. But due to the fact that there's numerous military white hats, if I were to send a message to a certain white hat, I would be 100% sure it was going to go to the person that I might be trying to communicate with. And maybe I'm doing that right now. And I don't mean this minute, but this week. Maybe I am sending a message through a military white hat to President Trump to throw my hat in the ring if he needs a very well-informed witness to what went on 9/11 and who did it. So, is that a sufficient answer, or do I need to continue, Jenny?
No, I think you did great. And my follow-up question to you on that field would be, we're seeing a lot of these things coming out, being said to be declassified. Do you foresee that this is going to come to fruition for the American public to see? Because I know a lot of us doing the research and in the background know certain things, right? But do you think finally the American people are going to get to see the truth on 9/11?
Yes, I'm 100% confident. That's different. Confident is different than sure, but I'm 100% confident that 9/11, when declassed, is going to be shared with the American public, because take a look at how many American families were touched by 9/11, not just on the day of 9/11, when 2,998 people died in World Trade 1 and 2. And once again, that brings up the thought in my mind, and it makes me want to cry, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be strong. That was a great song by Gene Pitney, by the way. But when I think about all the people that died in World Trade 1 and 2, 2,998 people, and they weren't all Americans, but they were all humans. And their bodies, what was left of their bodies after nanothermite tore down the buildings into their own footprint, um, there was a security ring around the World Trade 1 and 2 sites, and a long parade of dump trucks were loaded with the debris and taken to Fresh Kills landfill. And I admire how God works, because God controls everything ultimately. And some people would question that. They'd say, well, if God controls everything, why did he let World Trade 1 and 2 come down? I can't answer that. But God certainly did not want World Trade 1 and 2 to come down and kill 2,998 people. And God himself would be terribly offended to learn that all of the rubble or the debris was loaded onto a series of dump trucks that took the remains to Fresh Kills landfill. And there was a little girl standing outside the entry to the landfill holding up a sign that said, my daddy is not garbage. And, I have a hard time not crying. I don't even have the picture in front of me, but I got the picture in my mind. So, yes, I think when President Trump announces through his military white hats, perhaps, that the declassification of 9/11 is underway, I will already have volunteered to be a witness, because it seems that there's other people that are probably more well informed than me, but they're reluctant to be quoted or to be videotaped. And that's how we get in messes like this. When good people are afraid to stand up and speak, that opens the door to further corruption. And I've, you know, I'm just one person, but if the White Hats were to call upon me, I would already have volunteered to stand up and speak and hold people accountable for what they did to not just the 2,998 people. How about the millions of people in wars that didn't need to be started? And why were the wars started? Well, the deep state of the United States of America wanted to conquer about 7 nations And they wanted to do that in a series of wars. And they got several of the wars started, maybe two of them, Desert Storm 1 and Desert Storm 2. And can the U.S. military be held accountable? I don't think so. But I think the person or persons or the organization or office that authorized those terrible wars based on false information. And one of my family members would be one of my key persons that I would point at. But some of the other participants in these illegal wars have already been dealt with. George H.W. Bush, John McCain, the Clinton Foundation will be held accountable at some point. And, I think when the truth is known, and it will be, I'm very, very confident the truth will become known. And I'm going to use a snobby college boy term now. When the truth is promulgated, which means distributed to the American people, a lot of Americans are going to be in shock or become physically ill to think that our government could be so egregiously criminal. Did I come close to answering that adequately, Jenny?
Yes, you did. Thank you, Fields. All right, everybody, we're going to go to some questions for Fields, so please feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic if you guys have a question for Fields. Also, too, if you cannot speak right now, there is a logo on the wall that says Field McConnell. Please write your question underneath there, and I will read those as well. Okay, let's see. Mary G., your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Field your question.
Hi, Penny. Hi, Field. Good to be
Hello.
on here. I got a couple good questions for Field. Okay,
Go for it.
so there's a newscaster. Can't It's his name slips me. Hold on a minute. He was set to give two huge announcements, and he did a video, and he said, first of all, I'm scared to death. He said, I have given this to Alex Jones, my information. If anything were to happen to me, I gave it to Alex Jones. And his name is, oh my goodness, I can't think of what his name is.
James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe, yes, him. And Alex Jones did a video and said that he got that information and that he was not suicidal either. So, do you have any idea, Field, on what those two major bombshells are to come out this week?
No, I do not. And I love questions that I don't know the answer to because it gives me an opportunity, which is somewhat rare, but an opportunity to say, I don't know. But let me just do this in baby bites. Apparently, somebody said that this week, two bombshells are going to go off. Is that right, Mary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, as far as, I don't know, but I have been dropping bombshells of my own since the morning of 9/11. And to this point, nothing has been done about 9/11. But, Donald Trump just got in office about 105 days ago, give or take. Um, and he's not a magician. What he is he's not a politician either, for that matter. He is a um, chief executive officer of the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America. I can't wait to see what the bombshells might be. One potential bombshell that I could envision is having JFK Jr. replace a charlatan as the vice president of the US. And when I say a charlatan, I say that for a very good reason. There is no such person as J.D. Vance. Now,
Real quickly,
Mary,
Field. Real
go
quickly,
ahead.
Phil, before you go, real quickly before you go into JD Vance, to kind of help Mary a little bit. So regarding the James O'Keefe dealio, it has something to do with an exposure of billions of dollars within the government that could take down and wipe out a good portion of our political world. So that's why he's gone dark. That's why he's saying he's scared as hell to put this out. So I think everybody should pay attention to that. I don't know when it's going to drop, but yeah, remember, don't pay attention to the noise because there's going to be a lot of bullshit kind of probably sideswiping us from maybe hearing that information. So just keep your eyes on the ball, everybody. Go ahead, Field.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jenny. Thanks for reminding us of that.
Of
So,
course.
yeah, well, you say of course as if it's a matter of course. It's not. Most people don't have the nerve you have. And a lot of people that might otherwise have nerve are afraid to speak. And whoever this politician is, I think you said his name was O'Keefe. Uh, if I had the information he has,
No, he's
I,
the news. He's the news guy. He's the O'Keefe Media. He's the one that's got the information that can expose a good portion of our politicians and billions of dollars that maybe they have spent, scammed. You know how that goes.
And he's got death
yeah,
threats, major death threats. Yes.
well, I just want to point out, Jenny, am I alive or am I dead?
You're alive and well.
Yes, I am alive and I am well. And thanks to Angel, my voice is cooperating today. But we can't let anybody frighten us into doing the wrong thing. And some people would scratch their head and say, what's the wrong thing? In this case, doing the wrong thing is not doing the right thing. If you see it, speak. And that is something that we hear out of Jenny's mouth every week. If you see something, say something. And people are cowardly because everybody's afraid of somebody. Everybody's afraid of the cop on the corner or the FBI or the CIA. And if you want to be afraid, go ahead and be afraid, but don't be afraid when it comes to protecting children or protecting the nation in which you live. In my case, I live and was born in the United States, and I will die before I'll be quiet. And that's why I have already volunteered to the White Hats and let them know that I would be more than happy to be a witness when, not if, but when 9/11 is declassified. I would be willing to stand up and put my neck on the chopping block and point the finger at the people who did 9/11, one of which is my only sibling, one of which was George H.W. Bush, period, one of which was John McCain, period, and others, some of the lower hanging fruit, like the Clinton Foundation, plural. Um, these people have not only stole billions of dollars, I would be surprised if the true number was measured at a trillion or more. And look at the endless carnage they have participated in. And if they don't want to admit it, which they're cowards, uh, but long ago, and it's not like I'm prescient, which is a big college boy word, but it's not like I have vision that other people don't have. A lot of people see what I see, and they see that 9/11 was put on by a subsegment of the United States government, the deep state, and the deep state uh, criminals, felony criminals involved in 9/11 were a majority of the Congress, which includes the Senate. And I'm sure the people in the Congress and Senate don't like my name. Well, if Jenny gave me permission to talk like a Marine, and I'm not asking for that, Jenny, I'd rather not, but I would have two words for the people that might suggest to me I should shut up or die. And the first word is blank, and the second word is you. If anyone wants me to be dead, come to Plum City, Wisconsin. The zip code, if you're having trouble finding it on a map, is 54761. Come to Plum City, Wisconsin, and try to kill me, you cowards. And people always want me to make an example of somebody. And so the person I like that is complicit in all of these crimes against humanity is a person who has the same surname as me. And that person's name is Mitch McConnell, who looks like a turtle, and that's about how fast he thinks. I don't know how fast a turtle can think, but I know a turtle can't move very fast, and they think they have a protective shell. Well, I'm ripping off your Band-Aid, Mitch McConnell. You have been the Senate Majority Leader during a time where the Senate and the Congress both failed to do their jobs. And what is the job of a congressman or senator? It's the same as the job of a Marine Corps officer. Protect the United States Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And the beauty of America today is we have no foreign enemies, none. We have 209 nations that are aligning with us through the brilliance and the service of Donald John Trump. That's me speaking. Donald Trump didn't say that. I did. My name is Field McConnell. Come and kill me if you want. Uh, I don't think they have the nerve to kill me. And I'm betting my life on it. They do not have the nerve to kill me. Because what happens? Well, somebody would replay this audio tape and they'd get to the point where I'm saying that somebody should come to Plum City and try to kill me. I don't think they would get away with it. It's been tried before. In fact, on November 4th of 2019, I was arrested by 7 police officers from Pierce County Sheriff's Office. Was I guilty of a crime? No. Why did they arrest me then if I was not guilty of a crime? Well, let's do this in baby steps. How do I know I was not guilty of a crime? First and foremost, I never committed a crime, and I know that better than anyone because I'm the only me that exists. I'm me, and I never committed a crime. Okay, how else do I know it? Because I was in protective custody, first in Pierce County, Wisconsin. Then I was unlawfully extradited. And I said unlawfully, not illegally. Big difference. And of course, most people in America don't know the difference, and I'm not going to waste the time. It's not my job to educate everybody, but it is my job to point the finger at the people that did 9/11, and I know who they are, and some are dead, and all the rest will be dead. And does that include Mitch McConnell? Yes, I think so. Time will tell. Any congressman or senator that knew the truth and didn't speak the truth and uphold their oath is guilty, at the very least, of treason against the United States. And treason during wartime is a death sentence. And some people would scratch their head and say, Field, we're not at war. And I would say, yes, we are, according to history. You know, in the aftermath of 9/11, the United States government was declared to be on a wartime footing, and that has never been canceled. So, could I name all the other people that participated in allowing 9/11 to happen? I could, but there's 535 members of Congress, and I don't remember all of their names, but all the perpetrators, the people that are guilty, of allowing 9/11 to happen, they all know my name, and a lot of them are urinating in their skivvies right now. Over to you, Jenny or Mary. And
I'd
did I
like
answer your question? Go
you
ahead.
did.
Thank you, Fields.
I'd like to
Thank you,
speak
Fields.
on that for just a second, if it's okay, Jenny. I'm
Yes,
from
go ahead.
Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky, and dear old Mitch McConnell's from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Mitch, I think, has already been taken care of because there was a video out and he was talking and he was saying something to us. I cannot remember what it was, but it was something he shouldn't have said. And a lady reached over and touched him and he froze like he was he just froze. But
Hmm.
Mitch couldn't find his butt with both hands and a flashlight, I don't imagine. So I don't think there's any danger there, Field.
No, I'm not saying there's any danger. I'm saying Mitch is one of the many in the Congress and Senate who failed to uphold their oath regarding 9/11. And that's why I sometimes refer to Mitch as Mitch the bitch. And why don't you change your last name? Because you're not worthy of being a McConnell. And McConnell is a very small name. There's not a whole lot of McConnells in the phone book, but it's the name comes from Scotland, where the McConnells were well respected and in some cases feared. And in this case, all of Mitch McConnell's Senate mates and congressional servants, servant of who? Well, it's my opinion, they're serving Satan. They're not serving the United States, and they're certainly not serving God. And, there's two types of people that I just feel very, very, very firmly that I need to expose. And why do I feel firmly I need to expose these vermin? Because of Psalm 94:16. I won't even try to quote it, but Psalm 94:16 and Ephesians 5:11 in the New Testament, that is easier to quote. And I'll do it right now. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. That's what I do. I do it because God has twice asked me to expose evil, and He didn't have to ask me twice, but He did. And the other time He asked me to do it was in Psalm 94:16. And there appears to be very few people, if any, that were in the Congress and Senate since 9/11 who have stood up to their obligations under the Constitution. And if they want to hide like little sissy girls, then they need to anticipate somebody is going to kick the shit out of them. And I mean that figuratively, not literally. And there is a great quote from long ago: the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, that's why I write books. And that's why I uh, appear on interviews. And I don't appear on anybody's interviews except Jenny's, because Jenny allows her guests, whoever they are, in this case, me, to speak freely. And she's not shocked when I or some other guest says something that is really earth shatteringly significant. And I'm not going to ask Jenny because I don't want to implicate anybody, but I'm going to suggest that Jenny knows that I'm very knowledgeable of 9/11 uh, for a couple of reasons. And first and foremost, in fact, Jenny, I'm going to stop talking, but did you happen to put up that picture on your wall of that T-shirt that I found yesterday?
No, I have not. I have not yet.
Oh, well, don't bother. But
No, I can
that's
do it.
just proof. Oh yeah, I think it's great, and I think people would love to see it. And
Let me
even
go
though my
grab it.
name and
I'll put it on the wall, everybody. I'm gonna go get it right now from you, Field. You texted it to me, I believe, yesterday, so I will grab it and put it on the bottom of the wall for you guys. So check it out.
thank you very much. And I'll go back to Mary. Did I answer your question, or did I vilify Mitch McConnell well enough, or do you think I need to run him through the garbage disposal again?
I think you did a beautiful job, Field, and thank you again for all you do. And Jenny, thank you so much.
I'll thank Jenny
Thank-
too. Yeah, I love Jenny, and I don't mean in a physical way. That's cheap. I mean, what is that about? That's not me, and it's not Jenny either. We actually respect each other for what we are capable of doing when we're allowed to do it. Thank God, literally, thank you, God, that you've led me to Jenny. And thank you, God and Jesus, for keeping me safe while I speak the truth against power. And God has all the power, not some people. I was gonna say pissants like Mitch McConnell, but as long as I already said it, I might as well say it one more time. Mitch McConnell is a pissant. He was kicked out of the army for being gay as a very young guy. Then he married a woman named Elaine Chao, whose father is a billionaire Chinese merchant ship operator, and he's made a lot of money hauling illegal drugs. Now, was he hauling them from China to the United States? I don't know. That's not for me to say, which was a great song by Johnny Mathis. But no, Mitch McConnell owes me an apology for besmirching my surname. McConnell's in Scotland, McConnell's in Northern Ireland. If anybody wants a little humor, there's a McConnell's Irish whiskey made in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Is that a relative of mine? Yes. How do I say that? Because the McConnell surname is so rare, we're all related, whether we're in Scotland, Northern Ireland, Canada, or the United States. Uh, so it's been my pleasure to be a McConnell. And when my life is over, there's going to be some people that remember me as a champion for the underdog. And in this case, the underdogs, plural, are the United States of America and global children. And there was a great song by, I think the name of the group was Marmalade. They were from Canada, but it goes, "When I die, I hope to be the kind of man that you want me to be." And I'm speaking directly to God. God, when I die and you invite me home, I hope that I will have lived up to what you wished for me to do. And you wished for me to do it by having me focus on Psalm 94:16 and Ephesians 5:11. And I've done it. And does that mean I'm done? Uh, I'm done with the discovery phase. And now I'm looking forward to representing God and the truth in a courtroom setting if I'm called upon by the military white hats that work directly for Donald John Trump. And if anyone doesn't like Trump, I would just say, it doesn't surprise me. There's more bad people in America than good people. How many people are standing up for children in America right now today? That's what I thought, not many. But on the brighter side, 1 week ago, yesterday, so Sunday, 8 days ago, three ladies were in my house, and they were here because they'd driven from Illinois up to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, to speak as advocates to end the grooming of children to enter into child trafficking, to be sodomized by weak people. Can I mention a weak person? I already did twice, Mitch McConnell. He doesn't even have the balls to stand up for what he signed up for. He took an oath to America and he failed it miserably. So I think the state of Kentucky should extradite him to some other state that might welcome a loser like him. Okay, Mary G., did I
Amen.
answer your question? Oh, go ahead. Was
Yeah,
that
I
Jenny?
think you did. Yeah, that was me. I think you did. She said thank you. So I've got some other hands
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to call on here. So, okay. So we've got, let's see, we've got, we had him. He was gone. Now he's gone. Okay. Best Press, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you. My question to you, Field, today is I had a couple questions, but this question is I wanted to know what you thought about it coming out today about the illegals going home and we pay for it. Do you possibly believe that the reveal is coming soon, that we're going back on the gold standard?
Oh, I'm certain of it, 100%. But what does that have to do with child trafficking? I mean, I'm trying to answer your question, but in order to try to answer it, I need to know what the question is. So could you rephrase your question just as a standalone question, please?
Well, my question was, it's I guess it was just because it was put together more like a, I was saying I saw today that the reveal came out to us that um, Donald Trump had posted, there were several posts about the illegals going home and that we pay for it. So I, it was hard to say. I was just wondering, does he mean we pay for it? And so the gold is, say, I really don't know. It was just the thought that I had that, does this possibly mean that we go back on it ourselves? And it was on
So,
TV as well
so
about the illegals going home. Sorry, Jenny.
no, you're good. So
Okay,
I'm just
hang
trying
on.
to, real quickly,
Go
Field. So I'm
ahead.
just trying to figure out. So when you say we pay for it, is he talking about probably tax dollars? Our tax dollars are probably paying for it no differently than our tax dollars are paying for this child trafficking, harvesting, and all that stuff. So is that kind of what your question is?
Yeah, I just really didn't know what it meant because I saw all this on TV and I was like, what did they mean by this? We pay for it.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
stop
yeah.
right there. Stop right there. Don't watch TV or you're going to not be able to form a sentence to ask a question. And you've just demonstrated that frailty because you haven't given me one question. You've just given me a lot of stories and you're getting them off the TV. I'm not interested. I haven't watched TV in over 5 years. There is nothing to learn from TV. Period. Over to you, Jenny.
Well, I think what she's trying to say is she's just wondering, we as the individual and in best press, I believe what they're trying to say is we as the taxpayer are paying for this no differently than we're paying for the trafficking of the children. If people want to go dig deeper into what we are paying for as taxpayers, you will be absolutely livid. So to answer your question, I believe that's what they're trying to say. But again, like Field says, I mean, the lying stream media is just that. I do believe that they are being forced to tell us some truth, because if you look at their viewership has gone down dramatically, like insanely. So, but yes, we are paying for child trafficking, everybody. We are paying for child harvesting of organs, the adrenochrome. Yes, our taxpayer dollars goes to all of that.
Okay, and to support you, Jenny, because you made a lucid statement there, to support you, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just this week put into writing, and it was very clear speech. He said the Department of HHS, whatever that is, Health and Homeland Security, or I don't know what it is, but it's
That's right.
whatever he's in charge. Or go ahead, speak.
No, you're right. I was just correcting. You're good. You were right on that. HHS,
Oh,
Homeland,
yeah,
whatever you said. Yes, you're correct.
yeah, and yeah, whatever I said, Robert F. Kennedy made the statement very clear and very lucid that that government branch was involved in child trafficking, and it was a hub for child trafficking. And if any American wants to get livid, there's something to get livid about. Why is the United States government paying to sodomize children? Um, and it's my pleasure to expose that on a radio show or a podcast that's going to be heard, and it is being heard right now around in over 100 countries. Um, so that's the way to remedy all these ills, ILLS. And I'm not talking about Illinois, but that is an ill state, especially Chicago. And why hasn't it been cleaned up? Because cowards like Obama, who can't even use his own real name, but if anybody wants to see his real name, it's on my hearse on both sides. And that is a subliminal message to Obama. And he's such a coward, he doesn't even use his real name, Barry Swatero. And that's the name that's on both sides of my hearse. And am I afraid of retribution from Barry Swatero? No, because first of all, if he wanted to sue me for libel, he'd have to do it in a court. Well, the courts he likes were no longer, they used to be maritime or admiralty courts, not anymore. Now the courts are constitutionally pure courts, and the judges and the attorneys have to have already resworn their oath to the United States of America, meaning the republic, not the corporation. And as long as I'm talking about Barack Obama, his wife came out this past week and said very clearly, and I'm quoting Michelle right now, I am a black man. Now, how do you think that makes most Americans, black or white or yellow or brown or red? How do you think that makes most Americans feel when Michelle Obama says, I am a black man? I know how it makes me feel. It makes me feel justified because I've been saying that for years. And I've also been saying for years that Barry Swatero was a gay male prostitute when he was attending Punahou School. And he was. And why haven't I been sued for libel? Well, the short answer and the correct answer is I'm not libeling anyone. I'm identifying somebody that went to the same high school I did, Punahou, Punahou, Punahou. He was in the class of 79. I was in the class of 67. I went on to go to the Naval Academy and become a Marine pilot and serve my country as a United States Marine. And he went on to do nothing but try to destroy the United States of America. And if Barry Soetoro doesn't like that, tough shit. Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Field. Thank you, Best Press. Okay, let's see. We've got Nick the Sovereign in the house. Go ahead and ask Field your question. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead, Nick. Your mic is unmuted. All right, we'll go with Carrie Guns. Miss Carrie Guns, how are you, my friend? Go ahead. You can ask Field your question.
Hey Jenny, yeah, I didn't have my mic on, so sorry if it turned up green.
Oh, yeah, I did. No worries. Oh, no worries at all. Okay, so let's see. Romaine, do you have a question? Your mic was unmuted. Do you have a question?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay,
Thank you,
go ahead.
Jenny. Okay, thank you, Field, for everything. Field, about 30, 40 minutes ago, you were talking, and I was wondering if you could just repeat something and elaborate on it, because you brought up a huge topic. And I'd like to send a clip to some friends about what you talked about, but the topic got changed quickly, and I only heard the beginning of it. And you said something about JFK Jr. replacing a charlatan named JD Vance, who isn't a real person. And then the topic got changed. Could you just repeat that and elaborate a tiny bit?
Yes. The individual who claims to be J.D. Vance is rumored to be the vice president of the United States of America right now. First of all, there is no J.D. Vance. He made that name up. When he was born in Middleton, Ohio, before he went to Yale and before he allegedly was a Marine Corps officer, uh, his name was not J.D. Vance. About 10 or 11 years ago, at the time that he got married, he changed his name to J.D. Vance. So I think that whoever this person is has some explaining to do to we the people, some of which may have voted for him. I haven't voted for probably 20 years because I've been aware of reality for a long, long time, starting first and foremost with 9/11. But J.D. Vance should either explain to America why he changed his name before he became a public official. Was he trying to hide something? I don't know. I'm not suggesting that. It's a question, but it's not a question for me to answer. It's a question for J.D. Vance or whoever he is to answer. And long ago, I sent Jenny a image of the J.D. Vance history. And, I think that Donald Trump, being a brilliant tactician, I think Donald Trump may have selected him to be vice president to expose him as a charlatan. And I could be wrong. But it would be the perfect game plan to get JFK Jr. in as vice president. And JFK Jr. is not operating under an assumed name. He's been JFK Jr. since the day he was born. And there's a lot of people in the deep state that wanted him out of the way because they probably had uncommanded urination events when they think of what John F. Kennedy Jr. could accomplish if he were vice president. Well, what if J.D. Vance was put into that office simply to be exposed and then to open the office up for JFK Jr. to inhabit, which I think would be a stroke of a political genius, because that would be the first time in the history of the United States of America that we would have a president and a vice president from both of the fake parties, the Republican Party. I mean, take a look at Mitch McConnell, what a charlatan he is. And then the Democratic Party, well, it would be like being in a field of corn and with a shotgun and, blow a whistle and watch all the crows come up. You couldn't shoot them all. And I'm not suggesting that any Democratic politician should be shot. That's simply an analogy. The Democratic Party, what's so democratic about them? They don't stand up for anything. A lot of them don't even stand up for ladies. So when I was vilifying J.D. Vance, I can't be sued for that because I would want to see a birth certificate with the name J.D. Vance on it. I do not think, and I'm betting somewhat of my life, not my life as in life and death, but I could certainly be held accountable if you got a corrupt judge to say, yep, Field's guilty. Okay, what am I guilty of, Judge? Am I guilty of standing up to 4 oaths I've taken to defend the United States of America and the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic? If that's the charge, I plead guilty. But I've also been asked by God himself to expose evil. And if that's something you can charge me with, well, you're going to have to work that out with God. But I will make your job easier. I'll plead guilty to that too. I expose evil. I expose traitors, which is pretty much all the Congress including the Senate, that have been in office much of the last 20 years. What a bunch of traitors, Traitors. When God asked me to expose evil, he guided me to two areas to focus my attention. Treason against any country, but in this case, treason against my United States of America. And he has guided me towards exposing international child trafficking. And I was in a court once, and I was in the jury box, and before the judge was going to dismiss the alternate jurors, he asked all 12 of us in the jury box, do any of you 12 have a personal relationship with pedophilia? And I tried to fake being, I mean, I did in fact fake being nervous. I wasn't nervous at all. It's a pleasure for me to stand up for God. And in this case, I got to do it in a courtroom. And the judge said, do any of you 12 have a personal relationship to pedophilia? I raised my hand. He called on my name. He said, Mr. Mcconnell, you have a personal history with pedophilia? And I said, yes, Judge. I did not say Your Honor, because I don't honor those people. They're servants of Satan. All of them? Yeah, well, many of them. That's good enough for me. This guy was. I said, yes, I have a firsthand relationship with pedophilia. My sister and Hillary Clinton run both Pedogate and Pizzagate, which is the domestic and the international child trafficking apparatus. He put his hands over his ears and said, too much information, you are excused. And so I got up and left, smiling all the way after I got out of the door, because I wasn't going to smile in there. Somebody might have thought I was a wise guy. No, I'm not a wise guy, but in the Bible, it tells us that wisdom is a good thing, but it doesn't come easily. But fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And I couldn't do what I do daily if I was not in fear of the Lord, meaning I don't want to fall short of what God has designed me and trained me and protected me. And why the Lord loves me so much, I can't explain. I can't even prove it to be true. On the other hand, I've been speaking this clearly for a long time, and I'm not dead. Over to you, please.
Did that answer your question, Romaine?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Romaine. Also, to everybody, I just posted on the wall. Dan Scavino is putting out there, stay up to date with Trump 2.0 and sign up for the at White House Wire today. So he's confirming that we are watching Trump 2.0. This is hilarious. Awesome. Anyway, so those people out there telling you nothing's happening, yeah, just tell them to take off their beer goggles. All right, with that, go ahead. We'll go forward. Go ahead, Cal. Your mic is unmuted, and then after Cal, go ahead, Holly. Your mic is unmuted as well. Go ahead, Cal.
Hi, I'm following up on what Best Press asked, who is my daughter. In this movement with somebody that we follow that Jenny shares on her show all the time, he has told us from the beginning, when this reevaluation comes, all these people will have to go back to their own country of origin to be reevaluated on their money and, and go home, because that's how it's supposed to be. And I think that the question that Shelley asked didn't come out right. Christy Nome came on TV today and said these people have to go home and they won't be able to come back ever again if they don't go home now, but they will be able to come back sometime legally. So what we're wondering is, was this some kind of sign about this reevaluation is coming pretty soon? Because that's what we were told what was going to happen, that everybody has to go back to their own country of origin to be able to access funds if they're not legal here. And so I thought that's what they were showing on TV today with Christy Nome saying that. And that's the real question we wanted to know. Now, maybe that's not what they were saying today, but I know that we were told by a very good source that that's how it has to go. And I thought maybe Field knew that answer.
Well, I have an observation, and you're going to think I'm being unkind. I'm not. Jenny, if I'm unkind, shut me off. But she 3 times said reevaluation. I don't think there's any such thing. I think she meant revaluation. What do you think, Jenny?
Yeah, is that what you meant, Cal?
Yes,
That's what
it
you,
was.
yeah, okay.
Yes, it's a sorry, wrong pronunciation.
No, you're good. You're good. We figured out. Okay, yeah, you're good. Go ahead, Field.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what her question was because I was so hung up on the word reevaluation, and I thought that had to be a mistake, and it's proven to be a mistake. So having
So
said that, go
So
ahead.
we'll have her repeat her question, but she's just basically talking about, we've been told many times that in order for people to partake in this revaluation, they need to go back to their home of origin. So she was wondering
Yeah.
with what Christy Nome is coming out with, if that is what they're meaning by. Cal, you can add to that. Go ahead. I'm going to let you speak for yourself too.
That's what they were saying today on TV, that they have to go home. They will have a chance to come back here, but they have to go home now, and they'll have a chance to come back legally. So being that this is what we've heard about what's going on with this financial system, perhaps you're saying that the TV's not telling us the truth and that is a lie, or was that a hint to us that know what's going on, that this is in the process of all working right now?
Well, I would just point out something real quickly. You got that off the TV apparently today. I said that on Jenny's show probably 6 weeks ago. And that's not to say that Jenny and her guest are 6 weeks ahead of the media, but in many ways we are. So I said a long time ago, but let me stop right there and not be self-focused. Christy Nome is a wonderful servant, and she used to be the governor of South Dakota. And so if she says something, it's my opinion. Not only does she know what she's talking about, but she's telling you the truth. And I do not have confidence in saying that about many politicians, although I have 100% confidence in saying that about Donald Trump, JFK Jr., and Christy Nome. So not everybody's bad. On the other hand, not everybody's good. So it's as Jenny says at the beginning of every single show that I've ever appeared on with Jenny, she says to keep your head on a swivel and be careful of who you listen to. And I would say turn off the TVs. You can find a lot more truth right here in Jenny's weekly broadcast or podcast than you ever will in the mainstream media. At some point, the mainstream media will be cleaned up or shut down. And as far as shutting it down, it's going to be shut down in the not too distant future. I wish I knew the date, but it's soon to be that we're going
Well,
to have a
Phil,
blackout. Go ahead.
Well, Phil, just because you're talking about it right now, I just no, not too long ago posted, that the it looks like the fake news broadcast licensees are going to get pulled. So it's on the wall, everybody. So it's happening. There's a video up there, and it says Brendan Carr. He's speaking about it, and it's talking about ABC, NBC, all the FCC is about to pull all of their licensing. So this is huge, everybody. I mean, they're dipping in numbers. Like they are not even catching the numbers that we, the alternative media, is getting. That's why we say we are the news now. It is on the wall. You guys are welcome to check it out. It's huge, everybody. Go ahead, Field.
Yes, and it's also current, Current. Whereas a lot of the garbage you see on TV or on the radio is old garbage. And, I just can't give enough praise to Jenny. And I've never watched a single other one of her podcasts or listened to it when it had a different guest other than me. And does that mean I'm a snob? I don't think so. I think there's a lady in the chat room right now named Angel, and probably could put that in context. But what I really like and love about Jenny is she attracts people that know what they're talking about, and they have the nerve to speak and also use their real names. My real name is Field Mcconnell, and JD Vance's real name is not JD Vance. Uh, Now, I said that on Jenny's show, and Jenny didn't bleep me, and she didn't give me a tongue lashing yet. But the truth is very easy to identify once you have learned about people that speak the truth, and once you learn about people who can speak the truth, then you can differentiate when you're hearing a bunch of, well, it's like Barack Obama's real name, Barry Soetoro, BS. Obama is BS, and the fake news is BS. And so, why would anybody want to fill their head with BS? I don't know, but that's what Americans tend to do. Not just Americans, but other people around the world. They listen to BS and they believe it, they quote it, and they share it with people, which means they're like a gigantic manure spreader, because that's what you do. When you hear something and choose to believe it and you don't even know what the truth is, then it's probably wise to just sit quietly, listen, and learn to discern. And I would say if somebody asked me to write a prescription, how they can learn to discern, well, go to Jenny's show any day she's on and listen to the speakers. And you'll learn how to discern the truth when you hear it, which will arm you to ignore the BS when you hear that. And so I'll just get off my high horse and ask a question. Did I answer your question, or whoever asked the question?
That was me, Cal. Yes, you did. And I would like to follow up by saying you are not a snob by no means. You are very articulate and a very intelligent man with a lot of information. And the next time I call in and ask a question, I'm going to be a better wordsmith when I ask you a word. Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. All right, so let's see. We've got Holly. Go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Hey, Jenny. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hey. Well, I just have a good positive remark to make to you and to Field, because we've talked about this a couple of times on your show. My son-in-law is the one that is from Venezuela. Talked about it maybe 2 months ago, and then he went and he took his test and he passed, and we just swore him in 2 weeks ago here in Arkansas for his citizenship. So that's how you do it. That's how you do it right. And it was a really exciting thing for our family. So we were all there to witness it and to see it. And if you've never seen us swearing in, I don't know how all that's going to change, moving forward, because of citizenships and all that stuff. But whatever, he is officially, legally an American citizen. He had his visa before and his green card, but just wanted to let you guys know that, because we talked about it a couple of times. So.
I appreciate that, Holly. Thank you for sharing that. I remember you coming up a couple times talking to Field about that. So congratulations. That's huge, and very huge for, I think, your son-in-law. So congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you for sharing. All right, let's see. Grace, it is. Your mic is unmuted. And then after that, go ahead. Hermano, you can go after Grace.
I just came up on here by chance, so this is not intended anything. I'm sorry that I came on here, but I just am thankful for Phil Thank you, Jenny, and thank you for the just clarifying the messages that have been out there on the news. I I just have to say there's so much scramble that's out there that no one could tell what the truth is, except if you just go to your heart. And I just thank you so much for just sharing in such direct ways. And I appreciate you guys just being an outlet for all of us. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, Grace. And just keep in mind, it's going to get spicier out there as we move forward through the summer. So hang tight, everybody. Buckle up because we are in for a ride. So we've been saying this for a long time, but we're here. So hang in there, buddy. But I can't tell you enough. Be careful who you listen to and who you follow. All right, Mr. Romano, go ahead.
Hello, Bella. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Since we have Captain Field McConnell here, I just want to ask Mr. McConnell, what is his? Because right now I punched up his name and what I'm looking at for his flying resume. 1967 to 1971, studied at the United States Naval Academy, graduating 9th of June, 1971. Commissioned second lieutenant, United States Marine Corps, with guarantee of aviation military operations specialty. July 7th to July 19, 1971 to February 1972. Attended United States Marine Corps, the basic school, July 1971 to 1972, qualified as 0301 Infantry Platoon Commander. And then it goes on. What caught my attention, and I want to verify it with Mr. McConnell, on December 10th, 2006, Field McConnell reported the illegal modification on Boeing aircraft to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, Northwest Airlines, Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, NORAD, and USNA superintendent. Shortly thereafter, Northwest Airlines, compelled by the United States Department of Justice, US DOJ, silenced Field McConnell due to his inadvertent reopening of a safety issue closed in June 2006, settlement of a $615 million settlement paid by Boeing to the United States Department of Justice, United States Department of DOJ. I just want to ask Mr. McConnell, since he's here, are those facts?
Yes, they are.
Thank you, Field.
Thank you, Mr. McConnell.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Hermano,
Romano.
my brother. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. All right, Field, we've got a couple questions on here before the end of the podcast. So we've got Patriot 1969 is asking, do you expect full disclosure of 9/11 before year end? It all ties together with the gold.
Yes, I do. Expect it long before the end of the year, but that's only my expectation. I, like everyone in America and around the world that's looking forward to a lot of these disclosures, it's not up to us. It's up to the uh, chairman of the board or the CEO, chief executive officer of the Republic of the United States of America, and his name is Donald John Trump. And so many people, a lot of them educated and well-meaning, get really exasperated and they start talking like a bunch of baboons when I don't even know how baboons talk, but apparently they can communicate. You know, one baboon might say to the next one, "Excuse me, you're a lot closer to that bunch of bananas. Could you pass me three?" But I don't speak baboon, and I also don't speak BS. And I'm not referring to Barry Soetoro, who is full of BS, as is his husband, Mike. Oh, excuse me, I meant Michelle. Except for it's so confusing because just this past week, Michelle said, verbatim quote, "I am a black man." Gee, no shit, Michelle, we knew that long ago. So what causes these liars to dwell in darkness and then come out as if they're making a serious statement? Uh, It's not news to me. But anyway, I do think that we will learn, especially about, in the case of 9/11. I don't think it'll be towards the end of this year. I think it may be much sooner. And right now we're in May. So, I think during the summer months, or, it could happen in May, but June, July, or August, I would expect that would be the window for the declassification of what happened on 9/11. And I'm a little confused how they're going to declassify it if some segment of the government already knew the truth, because I'm not so sure that any part of the deep state knew the truth because of the lack of action on the truth. And I've known the truth of 9/11 since the day it happened. And I'm not going to go into the long version of the story, but I witnessed on 9/11 that the aircraft that were supposedly flying towards and supposedly hitting the Twin Towers were airliners. No, they were not. They were airline-like aircraft, but they were being flown by technology, not by humans. So if I knew that on 9/11, why in the world has the government squelched my revelation of truth? I don't know, but that'll be for them to answer, because when Donald Trump's military white hats declassify it, the truth will be there for everyone to see, and for some people to say, oh, that's no news to me. Field Mcconnell told me that numerous times in a variety of forums, in a variety of ways, and in a variety of books. BOOKS. And the most important book that I will ever write is going to be published at some point. I don't know when I'm happy with the book. And the reason I'm dragging my feet is because the book is called War Bride POW, and that is a book about my wife, Denise Irene Clark Mcconnell, who is a war bride. And I choose that term because I never met her until the 27th of February of 2015. But she knew what she was getting into when she offered me a ride from the Heathrow Airport in London to Telford, where I was going to speak. And then, it wasn't much further down the road than she, at age 49, had the nerve to marry me. And the other half of that title, War Bride and POW, uh, I'm the POW. Am I a prisoner of war? No, I was a prisoner of Wisconsin, and Wisconsin and Florida colluded to deny me due process and violate my constitutional rights. Now, when they did that, they probably thought that they'd get away with it. Well, they have so far, haven't they? But another thing they don't realize they were guilty of, and it'll be in the book, is that when I say prisoner of Wisconsin, uh, I was actually a prisoner of Wisconsin, Florida, and the 17th District Court in Florida. The judge's name was is Dan Casey, and he participated in elder abuse. And elder abuse is a lot easier to prove than a constitutional violation that occurred when we were not a constitutional republic yet, but we are now. So that opens the door to several legal remedies. I'm not looking for a remedy. I'm not looking for a payment. I'm looking for justice. And I'm going to see justice with my own eyes before I go to heaven. And so that's my statement. I don't even remember what the question was. Maybe, Jenny, you can tell me what the question was.
Let me go back to it real quickly.
Oh, no, don't worry. No problem.
No, you're good. You're good. It's right here. I've been posting some stuff. Okay, so it was basically from Patriots it's 1969. Do you expect full disclosure of 9/11 before the end of the year? All ties lead to or all ties or go to the gold. Together
Yeah.
with gold. Is that the
Well,
one you're talking about?
so yes, and I did answer that. So if that person that asked the question is still here, could we ask that person, did I answer your question sufficiently?
So, Patriot 1969, if you're here in the chat, if you want to write, because he wrote this on the wall. So if you can write on the wall, if Field answered your question correctly, please let us know. Otherwise, if anybody else has a question, please feel free to raise your hand. Field typically gives us 90 minutes of his time, so we've got about 8 more minutes to go. So if anybody wants to raise their hand, please feel free. I don't see any hands raised right now, and I don't see any response from Patriot 1969. So I'm assuming you did answer his question correctly, Field, or to
Okay,
his
thank you.
liking. There you go, his or her liking.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody. So if nobody has any more questions, then Field is here with us every Monday. So unless things change, obviously, I've been in the middle of, move and birthday and all that kind of stuff. So things are settling down a little bit more for me, getting back to a little bit the norm. So come back here later, everybody. We will have Derek Johnson at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. He's going to be coming back from, or he has come back from Trump's Doral over there in Florida. So I'll be curious to see what kind of questions or we may have for him and some good information, because I know a lot of truthers went over there, podcasters went over there for this particular conference. So Suzanne, I see that you have your hand raised. Go ahead and ask Field your question. Go ahead, Suzanne. Go ahead, Suzanne. Your mic is unmuted. Okay, everybody, if you request a mic, please push that blue button in the middle and speak. So apparently she doesn't have a question. So with that, Field, we'll see you in a week.
That sounds good. I'll see you next Monday.
All right, everybody. And if you want to come back with Derek Johnson, please feel free. We have SGN on Wednesday. He'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have John Baxter on Wednesday. He will be here at, I believe, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then Captain Kyle, he's going to be coming back on Friday to help clear up any questions people may have regarding the Robert Kraft interview that believe they had. It was last night. And then also too, we will have Troy, everything XRP on Friday. So with that, everybody, God bless you. We will see you later this afternoon, wherever you're at evening. And thank you all for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, Field. We'll talk over in the little chat, I'm sure. God bless everybody. Have a great day.
God bless you, Jenny. Bye-bye.
Bye, Field.